Hey everybody, it's Trucker Chad, coming to you live from the man camp out in the oil field of Jal, New Mexico. My buddy Derek over at Driver Solutions gave me an idea about a video, uh, informing the new drivers out there what are the trucker pet peeves, the things that bother other truck drivers. And I did a little bit of polling in other social media groups and talked to some fellow drivers, and I came up with a list of the main things that bother most drivers. And this video might be a little longer than some of the other ones, but it'll be pretty fun and interesting. And so bear with me. So here we are, the trucker pet peeves. Okay, so the first one is the number one, I should put, or sometimes number two, is a lot of drivers are irritated when they see drivers that pull into rest stops or truck stops or big stores, and they just jump out of the truck and go number one right there next to the truck instead of actually walking into the restroom. Another thing that bothers a lot of drivers is the use of pee bottles. Not gonna lie, I have used them before, but don't just chunk them out the window. Drain it into the first toilet you can get to and throw the bottle away properly. That's one thing that irritates me is when you get a lot of drivers who just throw their pee bottles out the window, and it's just a complete lack of respect for your fellow drivers out there. And when the heat gets going, those things can turn into pee bombs instead of pee bottles. So properly dispose your pee bottles, and if you can, use the restroom. Don't, I get it, emergencies happen, but to go into a truck stop and stop, or a rest stop, and not go all the way to the restroom, technically it's against the law, but also uh, that bothers a lot of drivers. Okay, the next trucker pet peeve is about courtesy or the lack thereof, and this mainly has to do with passing and blinkers. One thing that a lot of drivers mentioned is they hate when they're getting passed by somebody, they get right in front of them, and that's four-wheelers and drivers of big trucks as well. When you're passing somebody, give a lot of room, and then go ahead and move on over. Another thing that a lot of drivers get bothered by is if they're faster than another truck and they're passing them, but it's taking a minute because of hills or their speed difference is only a couple miles an hour. And I personally don't like it either when another driver won't yield. Just back off. Back off, let him make the pass and get in front of you and get going, and then you can go, on your way. And you're maintaining a safer buffer zone. You're not traveling in a big group of trucks or cars. That's dangerous. And of course, let's always make sure we use our blinkers. And another thing that drivers don't like is when they don't get any kind of indication that it's safe to pass from the driver they're passing. Like when a driver's passing me, once he's safely ahead of me, I'll flash my high beams or my indicator lights at him and let him know, hey, it's okay for you to move over. And then once he gets on over, he'll flash his brake lights or whatever to say thank you. So part of the Smith system, maintaining a buffer zone of safety, making sure they see you, and that'll be a future video down the road. But really, use your blinkers. When you're passing people, give lots of room. If they're obviously faster than you, go ahead and back off. Let them get in front of you. Okay, this next one is about the fuel island and the lack of etiquette and courtesy. The fuel island is not the place for you to take your 30-minute break. Go park somewhere off to the side, out of the way, to find a parking spot. Rest stops are a good place to take your 30-minute break. That fuel island is for you to get in, fuel, move up, and go inside the store real quick if you need to. Not to sit there blocking the lanes. Different times of the day. If there's no trucks around, I guess it seems like a good place because there's nobody there, but you never know when 15 trucks are going to show up to fuel. And I've done a video on this before, but really get in, fuel, move up all the way so the next driver can move up behind you and start fueling, and then you can run into the truck stop real quick and go use the restroom or go buy something to eat. But try to keep your visit inside the store to 10 to 15 minutes. and then get back out there and get going. If you need to take a longer amount of time in that store, go ahead and pull your truck out and go park somewhere, and then go inside the store. Drivers will park in the fuel aisle and go take showers. I mean, there's a number of things, and I've done a video again about this, but uh, pull in, fuel up, pull up, go inside real quick if you need to, and then get back out on the road. Any more time than that, go find some place to park. Okay, this next one is about merging on and off the highway. Usually it's about drivers getting on the highway. That on ramp that gets you onto the highway, by the time you exit that on ramp and you're actually on the highway, you should be at speed. And a lot of drivers get upset, especially four wheelers. So if you're ever driving your personal car, hit the gas, get up to speed, get onto the highway. It really irritates a lot of drivers when somebody gets on the highway doing 15 to 20 miles an hour below the speed limit. Then it backs up all those cars behind them. Big trucks, it's a little tougher to get at speed. That's why a lot of times, if we got room, we'll move over to the next lane to let that big truck get up there because he's getting up to speed, especially if he's heavy. But when it comes to driving your personal vehicle, it really irritates drivers when a small passenger vehicle is getting onto the highway at 40 miles an hour and still accelerating. That vehicle should have been at speed, 55, 65, whatever the speed limit is, before they got onto the highway. Also, when you're exiting off the highway, you got to slow down, but don't slow down to a crawl before the exit uh, ramp. Go ahead and start slowing down, and you could flash your lights and let people know, hey, I'm about to get off. Obviously, your blinkers on, but you can use that ramp to do most of your deceleration, not a mile before when you're driving 35 miles an hour on the highway, getting ready to slow down. I know it's tempting when you first start off, but with a little bit of practice, you can get down to speed. Proper downshifting, especially helps using your engine brake. So a lot of drivers get upset with people getting on and off the highway. So get to speed as fast as possible. Okay, this next one is a real big pet peeve for me. Um, when I was training over the road drivers and as a trainer for our new drivers that are hauling crude, I can't stand it when a driver wants to get up into the truck with his gloves on. Your gloves are to protect your hands from chemicals and oils and dirt and grease and whatever. But the last thing that I want is for you to use your gloves to crawl up into my truck and touch my steering wheel and grab stuff. Always take your gloves off before you get into a truck. Um, Trainers, all around the country will tell you this is one of the things that irritates them the most, and it irritates me. And as a matter of fact, I make it a point to tell the trainee, but right when we're first starting, take your gloves off before you get into the truck. Before you even go grab that door handle, gloves off. Because I just can't stand it getting into a truck and you touch that wheel and there's oil or grease on it. That just makes my blood boil. So for you new drivers, you students that are barely getting into this game, learn this lesson ahead of time. Take your gloves off before you get into the truck. Here's another one that I personally have a hate is tailgaters. People that tailgate me, oh man, that just that gets me upset. Not to the point where I'm going to do something irrational, but I can't stand people riding right behind me. So what I usually do is slow down, maybe a couple of light brake taps to politely remind them, hey, back off a little bit, you're too close. But we shouldn't be tailgating when we're driving big trucks or small vehicles. And, it's something that I personally just can't stand when people are right behind me, especially smaller vehicles. I've seen too many wrecks out on these highways of small cars wedged up under trailers because they didn't give themselves enough room to brake in case I have to stop, all of a sudden. So a lot of drivers don't like tailgaters. Me personally, I can't stand it. I'll give them a couple of light taps on the brake pedal, let them know, hey, back off a little bit, give them a minute. If they're still riding behind me, maybe a couple more taps. If they're still riding right behind me, I'll start slowing down, way down, and I'll just make them pass me. So tailgating is dangerous, and being tailgated is just as dangerous. Okay, this next one's huge. A lot of drivers got back to me about that darn cell phone. Um, a lot of drivers out there, they get really irritated and angry when they see other drivers, big trucks and small vehicles, sitting there texting and driving, or they FaceTiming and driving, or watching TV. It's dangerous. All of your attention should be focused on the road. There shouldn't be anything there to distract you. It's a major safety issue. That's why so many companies will just preach endlessly about distracted driving and not using cell phones. But a lot of drivers out there don't like it either, especially seeing a driver driving with his hand held up like this, actually talking on the phone. They sell so many hands-free devices out there. Some of them range from those big super trucker, one ear Bluetooth headsets with the big microphone, blinking blue light. You see everybody walking around. Those things can be kind of expensive. And then there's these little earpiece things like this. This is $35 on Amazon. There isn't any excuse to not have a Bluetooth headset to talk with. You could even text with it. You can just push the button and say, text my wife, hey, I love you, baby. Whatever. Don't have your phone in your hand. Get a Bluetooth headset. Don't FaceTime. Don't text. Don't be on Facebook or other social media. It's very dangerous. And there are drivers out there that will call the company and report you. Um, they'll look at the back of the trailer because there's always a phone number on all these major companies now hiring. Well, they can transfer you to their safety department really easy, and people have and will tattletale on you. Hey, I just saw your driver with his phone to his ear. I just saw your driver FaceTiming somebody. So not only is it dangerous, but it could also get you in trouble. So stay off the phone, get a hands-free device, and be safe. Please, please, I'm begging you, be safe. All right, finally, another common pet peeve amongst fellow truck drivers out there are things about shippers and receivers that kind of irk those drivers. Uh, Personally, when I go to a shipper or receiver and their yard or their terminal is full of obstacles and debris and things that make your maneuvering of the tractor and trailer a problem, that kind of bugs me. Sometimes you get to these places, they got a big old nice open terminal, but they got stuff staged all over the place, and you're sitting there trying to wiggle in between obstacles, or it's full of a bunch of debris and stuff that could poke a hole in a tire. Um, Another thing is a lack of communication between the offices of the shippers and receivers and their actual personnel that are working. You'll sometimes run into issues where you'll speak to one person and they'll say, "Yeah, bring it in as soon as you get here." And then you get there and they're like, "No, you're not scheduled for so and so whatever time." And you're like, "Well, so and so said this." "Oh, nope, it says here you're scheduled for 8 a.m. So see you tomorrow morning." Or when you get into the terminal and one person tells you to back it up into one door, and then you get there and the dock worker's like, "Hey, would you mind moving over? We got all these forklifts and pallet jacks, but it'd be easier if you were over one stall. Like, that's easy for you to just move over one stall." Um, when you have the equipment that can maneuver all the pallets of merchandise around. Um, so, one thing that you can help to avoid that is, communications and, getting people's names and uh, second opinions. Talk to your dispatcher or driver manager as well. But some things can be avoided, and some things just happen, and they bother drivers. And a lot of drivers have mentioned miscommunication at the terminals and also obstacles in their way of maneuvering around. Well, that's it. That's the video about trucker pet peeves, and these are some of the most common things that drivers that I spoke with and polled on social media mentioned to me. And some of these things can be avoided uh, with just correcting your own actions, and some things are just going to happen. But hopefully, knowing about it in advance will not make it that much of an issue next time. Um, Anyways, this was a fun video to make, and I know it's a little bit longer than most of them, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, feel free to message me on Messenger. Been getting a lot of message requests from new drivers that are looking to get into the trucking industry and have questions, and I love talking to people and answering their questions. And some things I may not have the answer to, but I'll be happy to find out for you. And you know, keep those coming. I enjoy that. So for Driver Solutions, this is Trucker Chad. Y'all be safe out there and have a good day.